G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Stuff and Such. We're about the third week of June now, and we're doing our best to recover from a pretty nasty spring that we had to endure. Ended up losing a few more hives than I really was comfortable with, and we also had to endure the cold, wet spring. We're about 2-3 weeks behind where we typically are, because of the weather. They had to basically stay indoors and couldn't do anything, and also the foliage and plants and flowers and stuff, they didn't bloom until about now. Things are starting to finally pick up. So right now I'm focusing on getting my numbers back up, starting to prepare for next year's honey crop. And the way I'm doing that is I'm just trying to get my numbers back. A few days ago, today's actually Friday, Monday, what I did is my really strong hives I had in double brood chambers. What I did walkaway splits. Now, if you're familiar with a walkaway split, it's kind of a crude method of making more hives. And how that does is that you take the top chamber, set it somewhere else, and either the queen will be in that top chamber or the bottom, and whichever doesn't have the queen will then start to make emergency queen cells and make a new queen. Now, it's not really the best way of making a queen. I've had all right queens, but I'm also wanting to not really do it that way. I have behind us over here, I have some queens that I purchased early this spring, and basically I've just kind of put them into little nucs. I'll take you over and show you. So I made 7 nucs. 5 made it, and 2 didn't. It worked out all right. I wasn't surprised to see that 2 had died. So what the plan is I did 2 walkway splits. So I'm going to take those 2 nucs and transfer them over. So this colony here, I feel like it should have had the queen in it. And I took it from here, and that box came off there. So what I have to do now is I have to go through them and find out which box actually has the queen, and then from there I'll go over, grab a nuc, throw a deep box on, 5 frames, transfer all the frames from the nuc into it, throw the lid on, and voila, off they go. First thing we need to do is to light our smoker. I find a nice heavy corrugated cardboard really smokes away quite nicely. Roll it up into a tube. So I don't have a very big day planned of doing bees today. Just these two little things that need to be done. Here, I'm going to move this down so you don't hear me panting so much. So I don't need a huge smoker light, but what also really lasts a long time is old dried cow turds, which I guess maybe that's why the frontier folks use them. Old buffalo chips as they took their wagon down the trail. Alright, let's go digging. So I don't know which has more likely, but being that this is just a medium or a deep, one single box. I'll try it first. I should be able to tell if the queen's in here or in here simply by going through this box. Give them a little smoke. So, big patch of brood. I don't see any egg yet. So if there's no eggs, then I would assume the queen ain't in here. But I also should be seeing emergency queen cells if she isn't in here. And if there's no well, there's an egg, but it might just be a dead one. There's very, very few bees in here, which kind of baffles me. Well, this is very weird. The fact that there's no queen or emergency queen cells or no eggs strikes me as quite odd. There's great big patches of brood with very, very little nurse bees on them. Well, that's a bit of a stumper. Might end up putting them back together. Before I do that, though, I'm gonna take a look through this thing and see if the queen is in there. It is possible that I have some really terrible timing and the queen has actually swarmed already just before I did this split, because I'm not seeing very many young eggs. I'm not seeing any larvae. Very, very peculiar. And because I'm not seeing eggs, larvae, there's no laying queen in here. But if there was no laying queen, they should have made emergency cells. So what I'm going to look for in here is basically any sign of that a laying queen is in here. Last year this was a swarm I picked up and didn't have very high hopes for it. Kind of just threw it in some junky frames, and I'm still kind of paying the cost of that. They kind of drew out some junky comb on some stuff. So what we got brood larva. Based on the age, I'd say the queen is in this box. Just a matter if I can find her or not. She used to be a super black queen. I was quite impressed with how how powerful she was. So you can see way down in there, there's little eggs. So she's in here. Now I know the other box definitely doesn't have a queen. But they're also hopelessly, what's the word now? Hopeless. They don't even have a queen started. They have no egg started. They just got great big patches of brood in the other box we were in first. I feel like we're heading the wrong way for the queen. This box of bees is just about to have a great big population explosion. It feels like we're getting close to a queen here on this frame. Very fresh stuff, a day or so old. I'm gonna guess she's on the next frame over. Let's see. Nothing yet. Okay, well, we know enough to make a decision on what we're gonna do today. Alright, get over there. We'll stick this last frame back in. One quick look for a queen. This might make some angry bees because of wonky comb. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is now grab the nuke over there with the queen on it, put the 5 frames in here. There's going to be some forage bees that unfortunately don't have a home to come back to. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a sacrifice we have to make. Once the nuke is in here, then we'll grab 5 more frames, fill up the box, put a tap on it, give it a few weeks, and it should be quite strong. Hopefully. Here's my Chilean queen. So already You can hear a different pitch of the bees. It's not massive, but it's definite. Don't know if you can see down there if there's shadows. But already bees are fanning, coming up. And they're just kind of getting to know their new queen, hopefully. Now this one should be good to come back to in a couple weeks. The original one was actually full enough that I might throw a box on again to make another split. Unfortunately, this year isn't going to be a primarily making honey sort of year because of all the losses and stuff. I find when you have bees, as long as you own bees, you can make more bees, but the closer you get to zero, the more stress you have. So I went into this winter with 18, probably 4 were weak. Came out with about 12, and then the long wet winter brought me down to about 7.5. I fixed the half, we're back at 8, and now we got a few here that we're working on. So this is the second Walkaway. If I don't see any eggs in this one, and if I see emergency cells, I'll know that this one needs a queen. So this is the hive I feel has no queen. I had seen the queen fairly recently before I split the chambers up, but they also can run super fast. Nothing yet. Also surprisingly not seeing any emergency queen cells. But that doesn't always mean anything. We're not near the heart. Empty frame. Based on the size of this hive, I'm going to assume it's a freshly hatched one. Quite a strong hive, which is awesome to say. Look at that patch of brood. How do you like them pajamas? Some larvae. Well, maybe the queen is in here. Oh, calm down. There's some beautiful larvae. Not entirely convinced the queen isn't in here. There's yet to see any emergency drawn out cells yet. A lot of nice looking capped brood and larvae. Oh, sorry bee. So based on the freshness of the larvae that you can see in there, I'm not about to throw a queen in here and assume that she's not in here. Little bee is getting a little bit excited. Promise I didn't mean to get you all excited, guys. Just trying to find out if you need a queen or not. So you just calm down. Pretty sure I see an egg right there. Fortunately, I had to throw my mask on. There's the queen, right there. Okay, we'll put her back in. We have our answer. Beautiful. Okay. So she ducked out of there in a hurry. So this hive here is packed. It actually needs another box, but we'll come back and do that later. My guess is this will have a pretty low population. Very low. Small patch of bees. Bees are agitated. So we'll throw that other queen on there. I can tell right away she's definitely not, there wasn't two or anything going on there. Done there. So I'm going to grab that other queen and her 5 frames, or 1 frame, whatever. And try and stick it in the center of this bunch. Alright, let's go get that other box. Alright, no queen. Ow! Little jerk. They're not overly pleased with me. Ow, that's a sensitive spot. Alright. So I got stung on the hand. Unfortunately, it really kind of made my hand numb. It was a good one. It's getting better. Okay, so now we're about to get into the meat and potatoes of this nuke. Just don't need stung again. What do we got? queen here. So they didn't change pitch, which to me means that queen wasn't on that frame. Where are you, Queenie? She's on the last frame. Weird spot for her to be. Okay. Have to make sure we don't crush her putting her in. And there we go. So that's it for now. Interestingly, the both those walkaway splits would have died. I guess they weren't as strong as I'd figured, but they didn't make any emergency queen cells, which really surprised me. I've never seen them do that before. They just kept on working with what they had and didn't overly recognize they had no queen. And yeah.